Well, welcome back to another episode of Buffalo Happy Hour. Mike, what's going on?
Derek, what are we doing?
No idea. Still have no idea.
I'm buried into a couch, and we are, for some reason, doing this at an ungodly time, and it's very tough to stay awake, but I'm stoked.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We're here at 21 Brix Winery down in the southern tier. How are you?
Not too bad, guys. Mike, Derek, thanks for having me today. Appreciate it. Hey, you guys had the tough job driving down an hour to come down here bright and early and a nice gloomy day. We probably wanted to be in bed napping and thinking about what's going on, what's going to happen today.
So why are you here at 8 o'clock on a Sunday morning?
Well, right now it's kind of like the peak of our season. We're getting into harvest mode. We just started picking grapes last week, and really, long and short of it, I don't know why we're here on Sunday. No, we need to make space. I mean, we got a great crop coming in, and we got a little bit of setback with everything going on. People have been consuming a few more beverages than usual, and it's our job to keep them hydrated. So we got to empty these tanks. We're bottling this morning, getting a few more tanks empty before we get into bringing even more grapes in. So it's just it's how it works, last second. You don't get everything done all the way until right at the last second.
Absolutely.
And so we got more grapes coming in tomorrow. But today, we're bottling summer-dry Riesling. And I'm a morning person, as weird as it is. Being in the beverage industry, I'm still a morning person. So I'm here bright and early no matter what. And I need to get all this work done before the Bills play today. So
absolutely.
To be completely fair.
What's the score? What do you think the score is going to be?
Oh, man, I'm hoping for a 31-14, right around there. Bills all the way.
If we don't get more than 30 points against this Jets team, we need to stop playing.
Yeah, something's on I'll give a little slack for the first week, But we better be scoring some points this year. We have all the tools. The arsenal's there. Cohesive, good team.
Absolutely.
Chemistry, all that stuff that they say is important. They better be using it this year, and we better see it. And we're all in the same boat, though. It's just sad we can't be there to watch it. So,
right.
We're going to make the best of it, though. At least we got a team, and they're playing.
Absolutely. So how many bottles can you make for one bottling day?
Yeah, so we just got a brand new bottling line, so we just upgraded. That's actually one of the reasons why we're here on a Sunday. Our bottling line came from Italy, and it was about 3 months delayed, which set back our bottling process by quite a bit. But with new line, we can do about 1,000 gallons in a day, 5,000 bottles. Looks like one good weekend party for you guys.
Yeah, right.
No, it's so about 5,000 bottles, and that's a good fair amount, about 450 cases.
Nice.
So and we're bottling out back, so we'll check it out. And the thing is the equipment, we could go faster, we could get bigger. But footprint and what we do, it's all we need. I like to do bottle in smaller batches.
Sure.
We're not a micro winery by any means, but we're not a macro winery either. So we I still do small batches and stay in relative terms where that's nicer wine, small craft, and not doing just mass scale. So
Sure.
I don't need a big line yet. Yet.
Which, that's a good outlook.
Yeah. Well, if I get that big, either you made it or, spin you're spinning your wheels for a lot. You got to get into it. It's a big market at that point. Competing across, you're on a global scale. I wouldn't mind being there, but the efficiencies that need to be with it, and to be a factory, it takes away the little bit of the enjoyment that I really liked. Why I came into this business, and I don't know. Yeah, you want goals to get big, but I want to be comfortable, and I got 4 kids now, so when it gets there, though, it'll be their issue once we're that size. I'm not going to push them, but hopefully they come into the industry, but
Sure.
We'll see. But
So speaking on that, let's dive into your past and how you kind of got into what we're doing now, because you went to college at Canisius for something totally different, correct?
Correct, yeah. I was going into medicine. I actually wanted to be a chiropractor. I guess I like cracking bones, and in a weird way, why I was going into medicine and chiropractic was I like to see people get enjoyment or relief or anything else, and in a weird way, making wine and having a beverage it kind of creates that same type of feeling of I've helped someone and they get to enjoy it and it's a relaxation or whatever, or it's a need or however you want to put it.
Sure.
But in a weird way, it goes there. But how it started for me, I mean, I grew up on a 300-acre grape farm right here where the winery sits. Our farm is all within a 5-mile radius. I'm a third generation. The Jordan family, it's my stepfather. When I was about 9 years old, I got my mom married Mike, and he was a grape farmer. His father was started in the 50s. Went out to UC Davis, got his degree, came back, started a small farm here, and then started his family. And the farm kind of grew. My father went off to Cornell University, worked in the lab for a little bit, came back to the farm and said he wanted to be on the farm. And it's my dad that kind of grew it. It's a pretty easy name, Mike Jordan. He played basketball too, so
Nice.
he's the OG. You like that Citibank commercial or whatever, the pizza, and they say for Mike Jordan, a pizza delivery. We'd be on vacation and Mike Jordan, yeah, and we show up and it's us with 4 kids and my dad and my mom, like, it's not Mike Jordan. No, it is, but
It is. Similar, but different.
yeah. Instead of crushing threes, he's crushing grapes. But no, he plays basketball collegiately at Cornell, so he was a pretty good athlete as well. But and he's like 6'5". So
Yeah, so he fits a bill.
yeah, if it's all right, yeah. But no, so 9 years old, I came into it. He was at that time expanding the farm, getting pretty big, diversifying things, not doing just the bulk Concord grapes that grows in this region, but he had a bigger vision of growing wine varietals as well, especially in the Lake Erie region. And I think from my grandfather and my dad, it was, don't have all your eggs in one basket. So instead of having just a monoculture one grape variety, they put in many different varieties, which was a little ahead of their time on the scale that they were doing it in this region, as well as the cherries and the asparagus. So just kind of making them all to farm. I came into it, had really besides living in a house that was surrounded by grapes, I had no real interest or understanding of grapes or farming. So, I mean, I wouldn't work for my neighbor the first day, and I should have taken this as a sign, but it's a cold winter, and we're on out Pound Post, and I stop in a pile of dog crap on the first day. I'm like, 10 years old, and they're kind of having fun at me, like, because I wanted to work. But no, it's actually, luckily it smelled like roses, so it's been good ever since.
Can't beat that.
So your stepfather was a grape farmer.
Yeah, is still.
What was he farming the grapes for? Was it a different winery in the area, or why didn't he open a winery himself? Do you know?
Yeah, well, so we were selling grapes to other wineries, other processors within the Lake Erie region, the Finger Lakes, big name wineries that I'm not going to give all the names away because there's some respect there given. Yep. But primarily juice grapes for Welch's. That was the big thing. Okay. And then the other wine varietals went to other juice processors within the region. He dabbled in some home winemaking. So as a kid, I saw it in the basement, and you always tried a little bit when you were a kid, and when they didn't know, they went away. And it was good stuff. I mean, it wasn't.
You got to try like homemade wine while I was sipping Coors Light back then.
Well, I would say that wasn't my cup of tea, though. I mean, they didn't. I mean, besides it, we'd put a little bit water back in the carboys after we took some wine out. But it was the Coors Light and the Natty Light, and it was really the. At that point, they were recording things, and there's a video of my brother. Funneling a Coors Light, and that came up on the, at that time you had the home computer. There was a center located, and then all the pictures that got downloaded. So it would scroll through on the very beginning, and there's a picture all of a sudden of my brother, and that was yeah. So the Coors Light were in the house.
Coors Light were there.
Yeah, they were there.
They were going down fast. No, but yeah, and we didn't really start the winery until he made wine, but he was just a grower, and the interest wasn't there until I kind of. Took it by the horn and ran with it in like 2005. I started making some wine for some other wineries, and then 2008 went away, put a business plan together, and fast forward to where we are now. It's 9-year birthday yesterday. So
again, absolute cheers.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, we got this big jug in front of us, celebrating our 9-liter bottle. Yeah, they're a good time. So, Thirsty Elephant and a lot of people out there celebrating with us. We had good support, and it's thanks to a lot of people. You know, you have a dream, you have a vision, but you don't know if it's going to work.
Right.
But yeah, we're the conduit to a good time is like how we like to see it, and people come out here and they've supported us, and we've supported them in some ways. So, but yeah, but no, I think I don't know how much of the true life story you want on that, the Chronicles of Chris Kane, but no, I went to I grew up on the farm a little bit and didn't realize how much I was learning along the way. I didn't have a passion for it. I'm not a farmer by nature. That's my father's gig, and I don't know. It just didn't resonate with me, so I went off to college to be a chiropractor. I wanted to get away from farming as much as possible, but I'm the oldest of 4, so I was a studious student in college. 12 ounces at a time. Yeah, I had a good time in college, but you know, I always got my work done, and I did well. But when I got done, I said, I'm the oldest of 4. I'll come back and let's give an honest effort here on the farm. So I came back and worked about a year on the farm, and it just didn't resonate with me. It just didn't. It wasn't my calling. So I just stepped back and said, what can I do here? And at that time, I was still post hangover of college life, kind of living that a little bit, you know, not wanting it to end and become a real adult at that point. The beverage industry, it's kind of boom. Let's go. We can probably start a winery and add value to the farm along the way by taking grapes and turning it into wine and taking and just adding value along and then vertically integrate the two. So I think it was 2005. My dad went down to one of his biggest buyers of grapes, and they said, "Oh, our winemaker just left after 23 years. We need a cellar hand or a cellar rat." And that was Presque Isle Wine Cellars in Northeast, which I couldn't have landed in a better place just because there was the diversity and the things that they do. It's a little tough and a little worn around the edges there, but it was one of the first wineries in Pennsylvania in '64 they opened. And in some ways, they showed that they were the first one still there at 64. So it wasn't like I just stumbled right into like a gravy situation. It had its you really had to work for it to make wine there, and it was great. I put in 10 years there, and I was that first year I didn't really know much about winemaking. I had a science degree. I could work in a lab. I knew organic chem, general chem. And I didn't realize that I knew as much as I did about grapes and had a palate from tasting the grapes growing up as a kid and being on the farm where you're growing veggies and fruits and you're always trying fresh stuff. And you don't realize how much you just, through osmosis, just kind of sinks in, even though you're really not into it per se.
Sure.
So I'm 12-hour day coming home and reading a Wine for Dummies book, like how to make this, and I'm literally reading it the night before coming out the next day, which was a good time. I mean, and I was, and that first 3-4 years, I was just a sponge. Sure. I mean, I started making wine, and it was it. I knew it was my calling. It was passion was there. I still don't work. I mean, I really enjoy what I do, and it was hard work, but I didn't, the family wasn't there, and I came from a hardworking family. I just thought that's how it is, and I don't know any different, in all honesty.
Right.
So, did that for several years, but and then once the kind of the seed was set, and my mom was a driving force, like, oh, we should start a winery. She was like, yeah, poked us, and so the seed kind of started to grow more and more, and it was and we talked shortly about Australia here, Mike, but I didn't want to have a one-sided point of view of only working in one location and having that before I went and did my own thing.
Right.
And that's when I said, okay, let's go somewhere else, and the opportunity came to go down to Australia, and I went down and worked a harvest there.
How? So how does that just exist? Like, how did that opportunity start? Where did that really come from? Who did you know? Like, is it from like a Canisius buddy or?
Yeah, no, it certainly is. This world is not what you do; it's who you know. As we're starting to find out as you get older, as sad as that is, but that seems to be the case. Actually, I'll give credit. Mario Mazza Winery, right here at Mazza Vineyards, 5 and 20. Their whole corporation that they have right here in the Lake Erie wine country. in their own right, a big pioneer in the region, along with Doug Mort at Presque Isle. Thankful to credit to him. Mario went to school in Australia. He went to University of Adelaide and got his enology degree, which is wine science, winemaking. And when he came back, we're the same age. We were kind of just chatting and bringing it up. And in the winemaking world, you have these traveling winemakers, and it's kind of these
like a workshop.
Yeah, no, it's you go to their busy season. Like accountants have like the spring, winemakers wine season's the fall, and when grapes come in. So it's like this 3-month period of like all hands on deck, just extreme wildness. Take to like the fishers on the Alaska Catch or whatever. It's just that busy season, and you're just working your butt off, and you bring in the greenhorn, and so you need all these people for 3 months of the year, and then they bust their butt 12, 15, 18-hour days for 3 months, and then they kind of travel around and are nomads for the rest of the year. And so it's like this cool group of people that are traveling winemakers, and you can kind of get into that world. And so I went and did vintage down there, and it was just that's kind of the norm in the wine industry, in the wine world, is that you have these traveling winemakers, you have interns come, and you always want to go to somewhere foreign. You're killing two birds with one stone. You're going and visiting a region that you want to see. If you have the traveling bug, you're able to travel. You're meeting new people. It's kind of the beverage industry is a fun world, not only because of the beverage, but it's cool people. I mean, it's fun people to work around, and we're all working for the same goal. And whether it's a micro winery or a macro winery, it's just scale. We're all doing the same things. Sure. It's just on a micro or a macro level, bigger pumps, bigger hoses, longer days. It doesn't exist. They're all long days when you're in this industry. But I reached out to Mario, said, hey, do you have any contacts in Australia? And he had a few. One of his classmates had just started as assistant winemaker at a big winery. And I reached out to about 5 or 6 different people, but Victoria reached back to me and said, yeah, we were looking to hire. We're at a new winery here. Looks like you have some good credentials. Come on down. Did the paperwork, got the work visa, all that fun stuff. Figured out about international travel, and I backpacked through Europe. My roommate studied abroad through college, and I was fortunate enough growing up to be able to travel quite a bit with my family and also independently before even college and in college. So I wanted to go somewhere, and Australia is on that list. So, and why not be able to make wine and go to Australia? It sounded fun. New Zealand would have been another choice, but I knew I didn't want to go to Europe because I wanted to speak English. Actually, I heard they're a little fun down in Australia, and it was par for the course.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're a riot.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah.
But, so, thanks to Mario and his connections, it was connections that got me down there. And I got picked up. There was 5 other seasonal intern types, and we were living in the Olympic Village, so I think it was the Sydney Olympics were down there in 2000 or so. The owner of this winery, which was Stewart Wine Company, they bought the townhouses type setup that the athletes were living in.
Oh, sweet.
So we had residents on the winery grounds itself, but they were nothing more than like the cargo tank, like the pods. And then they had like a one center room, so it was 4 pods with a center room, and and you had bunked up with roommates. So my roommate was Sergei Likalikt from Ukraine, who didn't speak English that well. So I became his, and he came from a different area as well. Our first day, they gave us a Jeep Raider. Funny story, like this old Jeep. Come to find out, it wasn't registered or inspected, and I'm driving through Australia. We go to the grocery store, which is 40 minutes away in Bendigo, and Sergey wants a slab of beer, as they call it down there, which is a 24-pack of, I think, Victoria Bitter or something. He wanted to try Australian beer. We get to back to the Jeep, and he cracks one open and starts drinking. Here I am coming from New York State. I'm like, you can't. I'm driving, but you can't be having an open container in the vehicle. Ukraine, no problem. And
also very correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
So and he pulls up his wallet. Cop, no problem. And and Sergey's like maybe 6'1" and maybe $150. I mean, he's not that big, and we're no sooner than out of the parking lot, and he's like in his 4th beer. And I was like, wow. And wouldn't you know it, there's a sobriety checkpoint. I am not kidding.
How'd that work out?
Yeah. Oh, Sergey's like, oh, we just pay. I'm like, I don't think so. I'm like, shut up. And so he's sitting there, and I got the empties. I didn't know any of the rules in Australia at this point, like what can or what can't happen. Or, they speak English. It's probably like America. They have the same laws. I'm kind of sweating it. Here I am, like day 2 in Australia, driving away in the registration inspection on the vehicle wasn't ever set up. It was a farm vehicle that wasn't allowed to go more than like 10 miles from the farm, and here we are like 40 miles away. I'm on the wrong side of the road. I don't know what side to pull over. I got a litter of empty cans at my feet, and I'm like, what? And Sergey's there opening another one, like, no big deal.
We pay.
Yeah, we pay. Like, and they come up, and they're like, all right, and why are they doing like just random sobriety like breathalyzers? But that's what they were doing, and so I blew in it. Luckily, I hadn't had anything, and they were okay with open containers. So, but they dinged me pretty hard about the vehicle, and they weren't going to let me drive back. I don't have a phone. I have no way, and it's the first time really being like living independently. Right. I hadn't really set everything up. I'm new in this whole thing, and here I'm on the side road. I can't figure out how to call back to connect to where I'm at, and so it was a nice, fun first week there in Australia with Sergey, but it brought us together pretty good, and it was a good time, and I finished the rest of that 24-pack when I got back. I didn't give him another. Yeah. So no, but then we fought with the farm, and they registered and got everything good and took care of my fine and everything. So. I don't know. I didn't do anything else. I'm probably still a criminal back there. I don't go back.
You're on the blacklist. You can't go back. So we've heard a lot about the climates for Western New York mirroring Germany. Yeah. What is the climate for growing grapes in Australia, and how does that compare here?
Yeah, it's a hot climate, I would call it. I think it was that first week I'm talking to the winemaker, and he goes, this is early February I get down there, and I think maybe that first week, he's like, February 23rd, we're harvesting our first vineyard. I'm like, how do you know? He's like, well, every year we harvest at that point. That's when it comes in. Really? Like, I grew up in the East Coast. We don't know day by day when things are coming in because, like, here we had a morning shower and it's rain and it's hot summer and cool. It's consistent down there. And I just remember walking, like, it's not even fair. Why am I even trying to grow? Why are we trying to grow grapes in Western New York? And when it's like a perfect, they're not doing any work and then getting these beautiful ripe grapes. It's a hot climate for sure. It was primarily Shiraz, very hot and dry. The thing is, they didn't have water. We were trucking water in by the tanker load to be able to do our work, which was very crippling. They don't have water. There's natural resources, and water is a limiting factor. You can grow grapes, but you don't have water. It's difficult. Mm-hmm. So they were drought stressing things and dealing with other things. It was just very hot. It was 110 degrees some days, and I worked night shift. So if I didn't make it back to the tanker or the cargo tanker before like the sun came up, it was like 140 degrees in there. We're still in the insulation wrap that went around the tanks and put in our windows to like just keep the light out and not get too hot. But it's a nice climate. It's beautiful down there, and it's warm climate winemaking, which leads to these very luscious, very bold, upfront, heavy wines with high alcohol, sunshine in a bottle, I'll call it, and where it's difficult to sit at dinner and have a whole bottle because you're going to be rocked pretty good because you're drinking 15-18% alcohol wines, and you're having food, yes, but you go out for a casual dinner and then want to be able to try to get home. That's kind of difficult and inhibits things a little bit. But now thankfully we have Uber and all the other good things, but that wasn't there at that point. And there's a little bit of I guess I'm a little jealous at points, but then I also think about like how beautiful we have it here, fresh water. We're a cooler climate wine. Our wines have a lot more finesse, not so much the sunshine in the bottle. There's also varieties that they can't even grow there. They're not suited for warm climate that we grow here. So we kind of stay in our own lane. They're growing Shiraz and hot climate. We might dabble in it, so I'll put the blinker on for a second and then get back. But I stay in our lane. We're doing cool climate whites, Riesling and Chardonnay, Gewürztraminer, aromatic whites, not big bold reds. Big bold reds, I'll go somewhere else.
Sure.
We do some reds, but
mostly dry.
Yeah. Our reds are dry. We have some off dry stuff that you have what you like, but you're also what your region is and what your customer demands. So we do make some off dry wines that are a bit softer to balance out our acidity. With sunshine comes you don't want to get into biology too much, but as you're ripening a grape, the wine's creating sugar, or the grapes are getting riper. They're getting sugar in the grapes, and the acid starts to degrade or break down. So you end up with this high sugar, low acid as the hotter and warmer your season is. In cool climate, you have lower sugars and a little bit higher acid, which in my eyes is a better balanced wine. I don't want to just drink sugar water with alcohol. So you get this I don't want to call it sweet tart, but this balance of sweetness to crispness and the whole acid level. That whole game is really nice, and it's really perfect in this region. In Australia, we were kicking tartaric acid into the fermenter vats by the bucket full. I mean, we had drums of tartaric acid just to bring their acids back up to balance.
Sure.
And, yeah, I'm a science guy. I get that we can manipulate wines and do all those things, but I like the fact, in some ways I'm a purist. I try to do, I let the wine make itself, and I don't want to be adding acid. I don't want to be deacidifying. I don't want to be adding this to make it into the perfect thing. So I'd rather we just grow grapes and pick them at the right point and make it to the style that I want. And I'm not going for high alcohol. I'm not going for big, bold, luscious reds. No, I'm going with, if I'm doing reds, nice finesse reds with good, perfect balance that are food friendly and they marry up well. And then I make a lot of crisp aromatic whites that are, for when we do have warm weather, they're nice just to sip alone or pair up with the right food. They enhance the experience with food and wine.
Sure. So talking about your wine specifically, what are your staples? What are you most known for here?
Partly because of the region, but you saw the big elephant when you pulled in. We have a big pink elephant in front of the facility, but our house wines, which is our Ella's series, named after the big pink elephant in front of the facility, and it's our native grapes. So the grapes that are native to this region, which is why this region got put on the map by growing Concord, Niagara, Fredonia, Catawba. So these Vitis Labrusca juice grapes, you would call them. Well, juice grapes are grapes. They can make jam and jelly and grape juice for the table, but they're still grapes. You can make wine with them. And they're these very intense fruit, grapey wines that we finish sweet. And that's probably 60% of my market. That's the customers that we have coming through here, whether it's nostalgia or whatever. Oh, the smell of grapes. I smell this wine that reminds me of the region. People that travel back here. You're kind of grown up. It's a regional type wine, I would call it. But it's gained popularity, and it's starting to kind of spread out further because sweet wine is not popular in all the ranks of the world. It's all dry focused. But if you look at all the Nielsen reports, where's the biggest segment of growth and the biggest, it's sweet wines. So, yes, we make sweet wines. And internationally, does that get me a lot of, acclaim? No. But I also do make dry wines, and we make very damn good dry wines. Our Riesling is top-notch. Had a lot of accolades. Chardonnay. I like Sauvignon Blanc. We dabble with that a little bit. And then I would say probably 40% of the time we make decent reds. Because our climate, the past 10 years, it's been a bit warmer. And so my Cab Sauv has come in a bit riper, and I'm able to get the level of ripeness I need to make my style of wine, and those grape varieties are ripening up. Sometimes some of those varieties for big reds, we just don't have a long enough growing season.
Sure.
But the past 10 years have been starkly different than
past.
So we're able to start dabbling. Plus, I would say we're learning how to manage the vineyards better. So a lot of what I do on the winemaking side is credit to what happens out in the vineyard side, 90% of it. So we're pulling leaves at the right time. We're managing the amount of grapes that are on the vine. Because a vine, it wants to produce fruit. Mm-hmm. Going back to science, the grapevine wants to put out as many grapes as possible so the birds come and eat those grapes, and then they go and spread the seeds so that you're growing more grapevines. Mm-hmm. That's how they're propagating. So what we found is we don't need all those grapes, and if you have all those grapes, they don't get to the ripeness that you want. So we manipulate the vineyard by dropping grapes. We pull leaves to get more sun exposure into the grapes. We know when to irrigate when we do need water. In the past several years we have, so we can irrigate at the right times. So we're doing all these processes in the vineyard to make the happiest vine to produce out the best grape. And they weren't doing that 10, 15, 20 years ago when my dad first started. They were doing some of those processes, but not on the scale we are now.
Sure. To
really hone it in. And then optimal picking times. We're using a machine to harvest. They used to do hand picking. So I'd go out, sample the grapes, and say, okay, you're ready to pick. You get a crew of 25, 30 people out there hand picking for the next 3 days, and you might have missed that window of opportunity of having peak flavor. So I can go out there. I'm sampling that grape that morning. I'm like, hey, Dad, these grapes are ready. Bring them in. He's out on the harvester with a crew of 3 people, and they're bringing 20 tons to my loading deck. We're processing that. Within 2 hours, I have 20 tons of grapes turned into juice sitting in a tank. Boom, right as the flavor is peaked. Because you're always sampling, and things, it's like getting a strawberry in the supermarket. These ones don't have as much flavor yet, and then all of a sudden, they're there, and you want to eat them when they're all ripe. And it's same with grapes, any fruit. We have these moments of peaking top flavor, and we have a lot of things we can do now. For most is being able to pick them right when they're peak ripeness, and that carries through. I can't add flavor and I can't add aroma to wine. You got to get it from the vineyard, and then it's my job to maintain it through the winemaking process. I can't add it, so that's really. I go on tangents. So.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. So, real quick, I want to talk about the elephant and kind of what started that. But do you buy actual grapes and just eat them? Because I feel like I wouldn't if I literally lived on a grape farm.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly don't buy grapes. Yeah, right. My wife does. I'm like, what are you doing? There's always grapes in the fridge. But, yeah, I go out and sample a lot here. I find it hard pressed to go and buy grapes, but I'll eat grapes at home. But we've have small blocks of seedless varieties that I ate as a kid that we have for home personal use, like that we'd put at the dinner table. That's how Marquis came up, like one of our most popular wines. It's a seedless table grape that I liked eating as a kid, and now we make wine out of it.
Nice.
Only a couple in the country that do that, and it's one of our more popular. But yeah, no, you want to hear a funny story? I'm really not a giant fruit fan.
Why?
Yeah, and I think that it's good and bad in the sense that I'll eat fruit, but I don't like crave it or anything else. But I'm eating fruit more in the I'm digesting in the sense of trying to take in every sense of smell and taste, and I'm too hyper-focused on trying to figure out what is a pomegranate taste like? What kind of flavor am I getting from that? Okay, so now when I'm smelling my wine and I'm trying to make my descriptors, or I'm trying to figure out what do I smell in this wine, or what am I tasting, I can draw back on that, where I'm not just eating it blindly and tasting it. Sure. I'm just so focused on it that it takes away the enjoyment of eating fruit, because I'm trying to...
Trying to analyze it a little bit too much.
All right, what's a Bosc pear taste like versus a Bartlett pear, and what are the different nuances? And like, is my Chardonnay showing Bosc pear, or is this so like that's the sense? Melon or honeydew, like all that. Kiwi, I'm buying dried kiwi just so I can like, okay, how's this exactly taste? Oh, Gewürztraminer has Rambutan flavor. Well, okay, let's go see what this tastes like. Sure. And so I fly out to Hawaii and I get some fruit and eat it. No, that's how I figured out about lychees. In all honesty, yeah,
that's sweet.
So yeah, I'm not a big fruit fan, and I appreciate it. I'll eat it, but I don't seek it out like some do.
Sure.
So the elephant in the room.
Yeah. Oh, good one.
You like
Nailed
that?
it.
So where did the elephant come from, and what's the story behind that?
Yeah, so my dad, there was an amusement park in Lakewood, Molly Brown's, and they had these big animal, fiberglass animals, I would call it. And they went out of business, and they had an auction, and we tried to get my dad, for whatever reason, wanted an elephant. My dad's a little different. He has a good character and personality as well. And we have a U-Pick cherry orchard across the street. It's been there since the 60s, but it's off the road. And he wanted something that stood out that showed where the entrance to that driveway was. So he's like, oh, an elephant, a dang elephant sitting on the side of the road's got to draw some attention. So we didn't get it at the auction. Ended up like a mile down the road at this guy's house, literally on Route 20, a mile before you get to us. If you drove by, he has a Buddha or an ET in the front of his house now.
Oh, yeah.
He's always got something different. But he had the elephant for a while in his front yard, and it just went for too much at the auction. We didn't get it. This guy got it. And like a couple years down the road, he's like, I want to get something different. Do you guys want the elephant? So we ended up with the elephant in a roundabout way. And my dad started putting it by the side of the road in front of the driveway, and he'd hang cherries from it and drape it with the, stuff in the wind to draw attention, shiny objects. And then when I started to build the winery, we moved it across the street here, and we put our banner on it saying "Coming Soon Winery," and it kind of just was there as just a billboard. Mm-hmm. But then we opened, and he painted it bright yellow, which his harvester is yellow, and he's a farmer. He doesn't waste anything, and he had this bright yellow paint, so he painted the elephant yellow because what draws more attention than a big yellow elephant, which didn't go over too well. Getting some hate mail. We had a jaundiced pachyderm. How could we do that to it?
Really?
And, oh, yeah. So it was,
brother.
Some people had some time on their hands. And,
Seriously,
so this was 2010. Or so, and so at that point, people were still complaining about things. Sorry. No,
right.
So then we had our grand opening. We opened in September of 2011, but we didn't have our grand opening until April of 2012. And I was releasing our Elataba, which is a pink wine, using the Catawba grape, and it's a pretty color. And I was remodeling my house at the same time. I'd been building this winery, making wine, still working for my full-time job, and remodeling my house, and I'm in Home Depot, and I'm picking paint colors for my bathroom. And I see this pink, sexy pink, and I'm going, that's it. Pink Catawba, pink wine, the elephant's going pink. Sexy pink to this day stuck in my head. So I came back, and I spent about 8 hours painting this elephant, giving it a pedicure and a manicure, doing the nails on it. I've given a pachyderm a manicure. Yes. You go out there and check the nails out before you leave. They're pretty.
They're pretty.
But yeah, so I painted it bright pink, and we had these grand illusions of St. Patty's Day. We'll make it green but it takes a long time to paint it.
Sure.
And so it kind of that she went pink, and it's kind of become our unofficial mascot and who we are. I put this big, beautiful building up, and I'll be describing to people, we're the big building, 21 bricks with the cupola, and we don't know where that is. The pink elephant. Oh, we know right where that is. So everyone knows where it is because it's kind of our landmark, and all the little kids stop. Everyone takes their pictures out there. It's a good time. And then we made a series of wine named after the elephant, and another weird way, elephants, not knowing the bit of it, my Uppa, my mom's father, he was an international pharmaceutical sales rep, and he traveled a lot. And every time he was on the road, he would buy an elephant for my Oma. I always, as a kid, remember going to the house and seeing all the elephants and stuff they had a lot of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And when he passed, my Oma sent all the elephants to us. So there's elephants in the building here, just little elephants. They kind of have on my mom's side, a personal meaning, and we have like the ones that have true value and meaning to us. We have those at home or in the safe, but some of the ones that are just for display, we have around the winery, and we always kind of go on the road. We'll bring a little elephant, and so they're good luck, and then that's why he collected them. But little side story, though, on the elephant as well. My father-in-law was here helping out for maybe one of our fourth or fifth birthday party. And I'm happy that he has personality. So someone's walking through, our number one question, why the elephant? Why the elephant? Someone's walking in the door, and they're saying that question. I hear my father-in-law. He's like, oh, well, their great-great-grandfather was trampled in Africa on a safari. And so they're paying respect to the elephant, and this girl is just eating it up. And my father-in-law is just like having a good time feeding it into it. And he let her go. He just didn't even so I stopped her like, hey, that's my father-in-law. He's got a good personality. So depending on when I'm working the tasting bar, depending on the person that comes through, we'll tell. It depends on what story you get of how the elephant came about. But
that's awesome.
Safari in Africa trampled my great-grandfather.
Yeah, you could have some fun with that.
Yeah, and if you're driving down the road and you see pink elephants, pull over. We'll take care of you.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Do people try to climb it at all?
Yeah. That's our number one thing. We also have a buffalo over on the other side, like the buffaloes that you see in Buffalo. My aunt actually was an artist and did some in Buffalo as well. Cool. But we have a Bury the Buffalo over on the other side, which is our new line of wines, our Berries series. But yeah, they try to climb it nonstop, and sometimes it's hilarious because you see these people that think they're still cheerleaders, and there's no base mount, and someone throws them. They literally go right over the whole elephant, and they land right on their back. But in all seriousness, if you want to take the insurance liability side of it, it's dangerous, and it's not the right thing. So we have signs out there, please don't climb the elephant. We always have someone on watch. My mom, she's a fiery redhead, and she loves to go out there screaming at people. Not good for PR, but
it's good for insurance.
It's good for insurance. Yeah, she does the accounting and bookkeeping for all of us. So on the farm and for this side, she's the liaison between my mom and between myself and my dad. So, but yeah, so she's out there, and then we gotta kind of depending on how upset or how much climbing they did. I'll be on Facebook or I'll be on scrolling Instagram or something else, and I'll see these random pictures of people I don't even know. And they're on the elephant. They're coming after hours climbing the elephant. But some ways I'm like, oh, cool. They've been to my place. Others I'm like, son of a gun. Yeah. But in all fairness, I know that I would have been that guy 15 years ago. In some ways, I'm tolerant of it. But other ways, I'm like, as you get older, you get a little bit more crotchety. Sure. And once you've built something, you're even more like, why? But no. All the signs are out there. No more climbing on her. It's just fiberglass too, so if you and we've thought about putting Vaseline on it or grease, so if they get on there, they're all covered. Like, oh, sure, they're gonna come in the winery though, and then want to clean off. Right. The spikes on there, give her a barbed wire collar, badass elephant. But no, we just ask you not to climb it. Yeah. We did have a group hang on the tusk, and she broke the tusk, so we had to take him in for repair and fiberglass and redo it. Thankfully, there was a guy in Buffalo that does large elephant repair work.
That's a very niche business.
He was the guy that did buffaloes, the fiberglass buffaloes. Okay. And he randomly stopped by going, hey, I do these, and I see you have a broken tusk. I can do this work. And so he's from Buffalo, and the guy came in. They did the work for us. It was like, wow, because we went about 8 months with it broken. It was like one-tusked elephant out there. We thought about making a new wine named after it.
One tusk.
Yeah, one tusk.
We got to have him on the pod then.
Yeah. Sure. I got the guy's name somewhere. Yeah, that's how they got into that. But no. Actually, they did fiberglass work on Corvettes and cars as well. Gotcha. So kind of in that same realm of nice stuff. But
sweet.
Yeah, what question did you have now? Kind of you pulled the string on this toy, and I'll just keep going.
That was just all about the elephant and what kind of came there.
I'm just kidding. Yeah. So no, going back, the house wines are our most popular. Yeah. And then after that, though, I'm taking home like our rosé, dry rosé, Chardonnay. I'll drink all the wine that I make. I appreciate it for different reasons. Mm-hmm. Each wine has a story to me. Every wine has a story every year.
Sure.
And that's kind of the fun at the bar too. It's, you know, we do some wholesale liquor stores, and obviously with COVID, our wholesale sales are up a lot. Our liquor stores, because customers aren't traveling as much, so we've done a lot more wholesale than we ever did, which is good. But it doesn't let us tell the story. I mean, and that's what I love working the tasting bar. I come in and every wine has a story. You can remember the vintage, or, oh, this is the time that we would have had more of this Merlot, but one of my guys thought it would be good to blend with the concrete. And so we only ended up with half a batch. But it's really good. But yeah, and Rich stayed with us. You know, it wasn't the first person to make a mistake, but yeah, we have house rules here at 21 Brix, and number one is don't blend the Merlot with the concrete. I have a good team out back, and anything fun or something bad that's happened, they have some I can say on air and some I can't. I know that I can say whatever I want here, but I'm not going to let you guys know all of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's fine. That's awesome. So what are your typical hours, and then where can people find you and all that fun stuff?
Yeah. So thank you. That we're open 10 to 6 daily, all year round. Just closed for several of the big holidays: New Year's, Christmas, Easter. But other than that, we're open 10 to 6 daily. And then the last Saturday of every month, we do a live music series called Beats of the Brix here.
Nice.
And so in the summer months, it's really nice. We have the big outside venue, and we put the bands up, and we'll see a couple hundred people here for sometimes bigger. It depends on the name of the band, really. Mm-hmm. And then we'll do it indoor all through winter. But 10 to 6 daily, and then live music last Saturday of every month. 21brix.com. 21 Brix, Brix, instead of bricks like the like you see on the road or on the wall. Brix is actually the unit of measurement, the scale that we use to measure the sweetness of the grapes.
Oh. Okay. So
kind of like we say 21 Brix, where it all begins. When I'm out sampling grapes, I talked about that flavor a little bit earlier in peaking, and it seems to be at about 21 Brix where you start to get the flavors. And, you know, some will get up to 24 Brix or 23 Brix, but it's 21 Brix where it all begins, because I'm starting to get that flavor.
Gotcha.
And so we named the winery after a scale that is in the wine world. Now, when you're in Australia or Germany, Australia, we wanted 24, 25 Brix. So we just say that we aim low here.
That's awesome.
But 21brix.com, Facebook and Instagram. Hashtag Sweeter Shared. When we did our rebranding about 4 years ago, we went with Sweeter Shared, which is we have some sweet wines here, but we also have a pretty sweet venue, and it's family focused, family oriented. Come in and what's sweeter than sharing our product or sharing your time with us on our comfortable couch, mm-hmm. or taking our wine back to your comfortable couch. So hashtag Sweeter Shared, the elephant as well. But
it's huge in here too. This is one of the bigger tasting rooms I've ever seen.
Yeah, it is. It's big. Yeah, we got about 4,000 square foot of tasting room. The big thing is you know, we have nice weather, but we also have buffalo weather, which I enjoy. I mean, I'm built like a bear.
You people.
I rather travel north than go south, but you know, you need to be able to capitalize all year round, and we had the space and we had the resources to be able to make a big building. When we started, the Lake Erie Wine Country, which is a trail it's a trail right here south of Buffalo, going from Silver Creek to Harbor Creek, PA. Largest grape growing region east of the Rockies, 30,000 acres of grapes, all that good stuff. But it's comprised of 23 hardworking family wineries that help each other out. Without them, we couldn't start. And when I went to start my winery and I started putting the plan together, there was a handful of wineries that were just opened. Noble Winery, Liberty Winery, and then a handful of wineries that have been well established with Mazza and Johnson Estates, Presque Isle Wine Cellars, Courtyard Winery. All these guys, I went and I picked their brain, asked them questions, and all the brand new buildings, they said, we wish we built bigger. We wish we built bigger.
Wow.
We wish we built bigger. Common theme across the board. Don't tell my mom that you wish we built bigger, because all of a sudden she's like, let's go giant. My dad and I are like, a little business oriented. Like, let's build right, but let's stay within the. Nope, my mom, she had a vision. Let's build this big. So we went big. We went gusto. I mean, we designed it ourselves. It's a farm family building. We looked at it. We traveled to California. We visited I don't know how many wineries. We didn't even drink. We just walked into wineries, looked around, took notes, walked out. It was a great family trip. It really was. And we took a lot of notes. But what do we like? What don't we like? And so we came back here and we built the building as it is with a theme and plenty of space. We wanted to have people be able to sit and relax, have a nice atmosphere, but not feel stuffy.
Sure.
And it's not like this castle or anything else, but it's comfortable. Mm-hmm. And then we put the decor in here. We're a hardworking farm family that understands. I won't say luxury, but we like comfortable things. But we also understand being real, and that's kind of like the feel. I think the vibe we get. We're approachable, but we're still that comfy approachable, and having tons of space, so you can have your own private conversation over here, and not someone sitting on top of you eavesdropping. I mean, I like to do that at restaurants.
Oh yeah.
Well, my wife's always like, "Are you listening to me, or why are you laughing at their conversation?" But here, I wanted to prevent that. I don't want you to be in their conversation, but. With enough Barry's Red or Thirsty Elephant, the conversation, I could be in the front of the room. They're going to hear that other person's conversation too.
That's my family.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it was big space, and then we built my experience that I drew on from working in Australia with the brand new facility. My experience from working at Presque Isle in doing incredible amounts with less. And then I did spend some time in Germany going through and visiting some wineries and learning about German wines. And so I saw all these production facilities, and so I knew what I wanted when I came back here to build on the production side as well. And I understood that more so than I did the tasting room side. I let my mom and my wife work on the front end and do that. And at that point, my brother was a partner. And so it was just big family unit. And yeah, it stuck. We made modification with the tasting bar. We got 60 linear feet of tasting bar shaped like a top hat, so you can get more people around the bar. We had the Brix in the building, kind of playing on the words with the bricks and the bricks, but and then we just put the copper top bar in. So it's turning more into an English pub than it is a winery, but beer on tap now, a couple stouts, and
nice.
Yeah. We have the espresso machine for workforce efficiency, and we put the beer on tap for workforce morale.
Those are really good ways of putting it. Yeah. I like that.
So they enjoy it. But one a day is all you're allowed. We want you to be you have to know the product, but you can't be one with the product.
Oh, yeah.
So,
especially if it's espresso too.
Right. Well, they can have as many as they want of them. I mean, I'm all about efficiency and keeping them going.
Yeah.
It's the other side of it. I want them to be happy, but I don't want them.
You need another one.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So
it's like the scene of The Office.
Yeah, they just start tearing up carpet. Oh my God, there's hardwood under here. Well, thank you very much for your time. We really appreciate it. This is such an awesome venue, and everyone has to come down here. Something I didn't know before, getting into doing this, is that you can come down here not on a tasting, like a sanctioned bus, and you can still do a tasting here.
Yeah.
I didn't know that really prior to doing this. Did you?
No.
Yeah. And careful with that right now.
Sure.
In normal times, that's not an issue. The bus is coming through, but during the with everything going on with COVID and the regulations with the amount of, that's our biggest struggle right now. We built big so we could take the buses. Mm-hmm. We put in three bathroom stalls so we could fit everyone in and get those. I didn't want why are you going so big with your bathrooms? Well, when a bus shows up, I don't want them waiting in line for 30 minutes because I was in the Finger Lakes and we were on a bus.
Sure.
We had to wait. But we were only allotted 40 minutes at each facility, and half of it was in line at the bathroom. Mm-hmm. So my mom's like, we're wasting so much space on the bathroom. Like, no, trust me. Get in, get out, and they're at the bar.
We can make the tasting room bigger.
Yes. But so we do take buses. We do, and the trail takes it in, but it's with reservations. Buses are good, but we want to promote fun, good times. But sometimes with buses, it's not the right type of atmosphere and fun that we want.
Sure.
Coming through, bigger groups sometimes can be a little bit more disrespectful.
Oh yeah.
And that's over time. They get a lot more of the buses climbing on the elephant. But right now we have limitations on the amount of people that come through, and that's tough for us because we have the space. We want the buses to come through. We can cater to you. You can have the group that has a good time, but we've just got to play by the rules right now, and we're respecting that. It's really changed us to adapt and mold a little bit here lately, but buses were a big part of it. And during normal times, that's kind of the fun and the you go through the region as a group, as a big bus.
Yeah.
And I like it because you guys are being safe. You have someone driving for you. I mean, that's my big – now that I have a family, I'm in the beverage industry, but let's be real. Like we're it's a slippery slope. We're having tastings and being respectful, but there's also dangers and liabilities that go with it. So responsible tastings are always big, and we're pushing that. And having the buses or the limos and the groups or having a designated driver is huge. I got kids now. They're out on the road. We're pulling out of here. I live in this area. My vines, my roots here now, and I don't want to just put these people out on the road. So responsible consumption has been big, and that's why I like the buses because it's pushing that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Not to get too serious on you guys.
No, absolutely. That's something we preach too. I mean, we drink whiskey every week, but that's something that we always say is just drink responsibly. You can enjoy these cocktails that we're recommending, but do it responsibly. So
when can I come up for these whiskey tastings?
We do them every week, so whenever you want to come on up.
Thursdays I'm in Buffalo, so
are you really?
Yeah, we go up there, but not for Thursday in the Square anymore. But those were the days. That's why I started the winery, to keep the party going. But I hardly drink anymore. But yeah, no, we go up. That's our delivery day.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Nice.
I'm working.
So yeah, where can people find you? Where your product?
So you can go on our website. We have all of our liquor stores that we work with. But if you're looking in the Buffalo market, obviously the Premier stores, all three, the Global Group, and several. We're in a lot up that way, and I didn't want to put out just certain names.
Sure.
But we work with a lot of liquor stores up there. And if you don't see our product at the store, be sure to ask your merchant there, and they'll reach out to us, and we'll make sure we fill those shelves.
What about out of state? Are you available?
Out of state, so we are we do shipping. We have regulations, so we ship right now to about 18 different states.
Oh, wow.
And we're adding states every now and then because there's certain paperwork and regulations that we got to follow. Some people can only order when they're on site. Other people can call and order. But, again, on our website, we list out at www.21brix.com. We list out everything on there where we can ship to and who all. But I think it's about 18 states. And shipping has gotten really big with everything going on with the pandemic. I mean, that's really, we're shipping out a lot more. And I think it's great. What's better than, I know I like to just sit at home and be able to click at 3 a.m. and okay, let's ship this in, and then 2 days later I got my product, I ordered this. Oops,
it's like Christmas.
I was like, I just did a wine, a whiskey tasting with Derek and Mike. Oh man, 3 a.m. Here we go.
More fun stuff's just gonna show
I'm ordering wine. Yeah, whiskey and wine. No, but yeah, the website we list everything out, and it's been kind of nice, and we've picked up new accounts, and these liquor stores are really good for us. They're busting their butts as well. We're thankful for them because it's kind of helped us stay here, for sure.
Absolutely.
There's some really thirsty people in Buffalo too.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yes, there are. Yeah, there are. I mean, I was one of them.
Right?
We're two of them here.
Yeah. I still consider myself, even though we're an hour south, you go anywhere else, where are you from? I say Buffalo.
Yeah.
It's just we're within an hour of the city is Buffalo. I mean, South Buffalo more so. I was in South Buffalo yesterday.
Yeah, what do you call this area? I mean,
Western New York. I mean, and this is so it's Western New York. We're not quite the southern tier.
Yeah.
We lump ourselves saying Western New York.
Okay.
But Chautauqua County. It's the big thing is Buffalo. It's a market we have a lot of options. Sure. You can go to the Finger Lakes. You can go across the border. Well, not right now, but you can go to Niagara on the Lakes. And you have the Niagara Wine Trail and the Lake Erie Wine Trail, which is one of the oldest in the state. We still struggle with the Buffalo. We're only an hour away. Whether you're sitting there in downtown Buffalo to go to the Niagara Wine Trail, people think to go that way, and they don't come down to Lake Erie. It's an hour. Yeah. It's about the same either way. There's a lot more grapes down here. It's a lot more fun too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
It really is.
No, the beauty of wine trails, guys. At the end of the day, and we've had studies and everything else, and it's like, oh, we need to do it this way. Every winery has to do it this way. The true beauty of wine trails is that you have a group of 23 wineries, or however many are in your trail, that each one has a personality.
Sure.
And it's the different personalities that makes the trail that much better. I don't want to be all the same. How much fun is that? I don't know about you guys, but when I go out, I start out going visiting places. I don't want to go to the same thing over and over and over. I want to go and get a different experience in different places. I want to have the different characters. I want to have the different, the feel, the different style wines, the different people behind the bar. Some are serious, some are joke. I need that balance. And so I'm an advocate for letting every winery be themselves and not like making us do all the same things.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's what makes it fun. People get to go and do the different things.
Yeah, and kind of going back to that too, my girlfriend and I, Gina, we went to different wineries on the wine trail without a bus. So we just did that for fun because, I mean, she likes wine. She's the one that kind of got me into drinking wine. And 21 Brix is one of her favorites. But one of these days outside of the bus, like the sanctioned bus thing, we just did like 5 wineries, came here, did a sample because you do that outside of the wine or the buses coming in. And that's just something that will bring more people here to try your different wines, and it's a different atmosphere here than it is at Johnson.
Yeah.
And all the way down the line. So
absolutely.
You got to come and try every one of these out.
Yeah, at least try everyone first, and then your kind of your favorites or your feel, and you can come back. I think if you're going to come out to Lake Erie Wine Country, obviously one of our maps, or go to our website, plan out your route first. And I'm a big advocate, like pick 4 or 5, max 6 in a day.
Oh, yeah.
There's 23. Although it's fun and nice to put that feather in the hat, like, I hit 23 in a day.
You're going to get sloshed.
I mean, I hope I'm not the 23rd that day. But one of my cohorts or partner wineries is going to be, and it's never a fun scene at 5:30 in the afternoon after you've hit 7 or 17 wineries and come through. The experience isn't there. I think coming and targeting 6 wineries, taking it all in, being able to sit, relax, outdoor seating or the indoor, or hitting one of the restaurants along the trail here in between is big. I think so. That's when I say, hey, you're coming down, plan on 5 or 6. I mean, make sure 21 Brix is one of them.
Absolutely.
But that's why we're number 1 in the book.
You're in a good location too, though. You're pretty central.
We're dead center.
Yeah.
When we did the SWOT analysis, that was both our strength and our weakness. I mean, we're dead center in the trail, but we're between exits off the thruway. But it's actually worked out nice. If we get the Erie or this, coming from the west and I get them from the east and they cross over here. During wine trail events, it's tough because people start on the outside and they work across and they cross over at us. So from noon to 3 in the afternoon, we're using all the space we have.
Oh, yeah.
And then in the morning, we're kind of like, oh, what are we doing? I'm scared. Oh, I'm biting my fingernails saying, where is everybody?
Yeah. And then
now 9 years into it, we're like, wait for it, wait for it. Here it is. But we've really learned to, we've adapted and we're able to really handle it. And at the end of the day, I like seeing people. I like the atmosphere of having a lot of people. I personally like that. But I want you to be with a good experience.
Sure.
So there's a fine line of, hey, more is better, but at what expense if you're not going to have a good experience? And we try to aim to please as many people as possible. But we're human. It doesn't always happen. Yep. And especially this time of the year, right now with what's going on, just a little patience. We're working our butts off to do it as well. So
absolutely.
Yeah. Hey, guys, it's harvest. We're here working.
Absolutely. Cool. Well, we won't keep any longer, so thank you very much for your time. We really appreciate it. Everyone come down to 21 Brix and check them out. So thank you.
Thanks for having us, guys. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.